I've been here 7 years as a county agent, and I've never seen anything like this in 7 years. But, you know, some of the corn around the county is not as bad, that it was just isolated. But this year, you can tell that it got damaged pretty bad. It kind of looks like shotgun. You know, somebody shot it with a shotgun.
We've had a round of storms come through here late last night that was kind of what we call training, different storms followed by a different one. Clay County here is probably one of the hardest hit. Greene County got their share of some damage, but the area we're in right now is probably the worst we've seen. I've been told of reports of hail damage in the river valley, and that's what we deal with in the early summer with these pop-up storms like that.
You know, obviously in 3 or 4, 5 more days, you'll be able to tell a lot more, but after 10 days, this stuff will bush out and you won't be able to tell the difference of whether it got hail damage or not.
The ones that I've looked at today are corn, soybeans, and cotton, and I have heard of some rice also being affected. And it's primarily in vegetative state, so mostly, hopefully, it will be all right also. As you can see, the cotton, all 90+% of the leaves are gone. It's hard to evaluate for a few days what's going to happen. The buds, which obviously it's lost its apical dominance, which is your top bud. The lower buds will tend to bud out, take over, and the cotton will have more of a bushy type. Same thing with soybeans. We have a bushy type plant, but it can survive.
If everything's gone but your terminal,
yeah,
you're fine.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to tell the difference of whether it got hail damage or not. So like this one, the growing point's completely busted off. So you might not get anything out of this one, but this plant here is still got a good growing point, so it can come out and still make it and be fine. They won't get as tall as they would have if they hadn't been hit with hail, but they will bush out and get big. And they'll probably, I mean, I'm not saying they'll have as, you know, as high a chance of having as good a yields as they would have before, but they'll still do really well.
Even though it will bush out, it's still probably going to have an additional herbicide application to be considered in there if we keep it. And nobody knows how much delays, how much more insect pressure we'll have.
You know, there's some that's completely snapped over, like you can see here. And we've even got some of those out in the middle of the field. And those obviously aren't going to make anything. But there's not just a whole lot of that, thank goodness.
Unfortunately, these guys here have got some decisions to make. We've got enough, I've been around long enough to know that we've got enough experience that some of these crops come back and sometimes they go south. We have to watch them a few days to look and see, and hopefully most of these will survive, and the ones that don't, we'll replant to something else and try to get them a crop. But there's a lot of decisions to be made right now.